Given our electrical grid is largely powered by fossil fuels and there are a lot of inefficiencies in traditional batteries, there are a growing number of companies, private and public, that are working on technology solutions using different alternative energy options, like handheld distributed solar panels, kinetic energy, movement-enhanced batteries, electrochemical storage devices like fuel cells, as well as technology solutions to make traditional batteries last longer and be less reliant on the grid.
M2E is a kinetic energy device. You may not have heard of Motion to Energy. It's a brand new company. We are not out in the commercial space yet. So this is just a peek into what is in the pipeline. It's a very exciting time to be in the environmental space and to begin to think about personally being able to just charge your phone as you walk around.
My name is Arthur. I'm representing a company that started about a year and a half ago called MiniWiz. And then we recently have a product launch called Hi Mini. And it's basically a little like hybrid universal power bank in your pocket. And it has a mini wind generator. The name comes from hybrid and miniaturize. So you have a hybrid mini windmill, and then you have a solar panel you put in your pocket and you attach onto it. And then we're actually working, we have a hand crank generator that can also power the device, and we also have, it's coming out later, we have a bicycle generator that goes with it. Let me give you a brief of my typical day. I ride bike to work. I ride bike to work about 30 minutes, and then when I get to the office, I put the solar panel in here, and then I put it out on my window. And then I do that, and then I ride back home. And actually, in the good week, I only have to charge about actually plug into the main about 1 or 2 times.
Before I came to the fuel cell or battery industry, I came from PC, wireless, and PDA industry, actually. And I'll give you some example why that alternative in the beginning became mainstream. Notebook, 20 years ago, when I was developing notebook computer, at that time, the concept of notebook basically was alternative to your desktop, right? Whenever you need it going away, you carry on the notebook, expensive, alternative of your desktop. Pretty soon, people actually start to fall into kind of addicted to the mobility. So the power of mobility, they can do your work anywhere, any place, take over the so-called alternative become mainstream. Today, one can argue that your desktop is an alternative computing for your notebook. So the alternative tends to move into the mainstream, and they move into the mainstream is because of mobility, because people just do not want to stay or stand around next to a wall.
I have 15 years of experience from the lithium-ion industry. I am a battery buff, a philanthropist at heart, and delighted to be here to give a voice to the environmental movement. This is a top-branded laptop powered by the Boston Power Pack. First pack to market is called Sonata. Batteries are not new. Lithium-ion was pioneered in 1991, and many of us in the Boston Power team were there to see that through. What is new is that we have basically started from the consumer, frankly, from our experience. So, how many of you have ever been going to a meeting like this? Oh, I'm late. Putting down your laptop, flipping up your screen, finding your power supply, putting it in, and then hunting down for a plug. Yes? Right. I live in a 200-year-old house, and I have wireless connections all over. And I am done hunting for the plug, because I know this laptop runs for 4 hours every time.
Hi, this is Solio. Essentially, it is a universal hybrid solar charger. There is a lithium-ion battery inside that you can charge up either in the wall or in the sun. And it will power handheld devices, iPods, mobile phones, digital cameras, other gadgets. Practically speaking, when you look at wall chargers and the waste stream today in wall chargers, and the billions of wall chargers that are imported into the States and Europe, and then ultimately wind up in landfills, I like to think that one Solio can replace 4 or 5 wall chargers, and instead of having to have wall chargers, you can have little adapter tips. And so one of our struggles is to get the manufacturers of cell phones, for example, to decouple wall chargers from their offerings, and that's a big challenge. Of course, I don't know if it was mentioned earlier today, but another big challenge is a universal adapter tip. So getting everyone, the Nokias and the Motorola's, to use the same tip is something that we're pushing for as well.
When you start to bring in renewable energy and people are moving around and they're actually charging their devices, you begin to engage them in the conversation of energy. People suddenly start to think about, oh my gosh, if I take a walk or if I ride my bicycle to work rather than driving, I'm going to be powering my phone, or I'm going to be able to run my iPod. And it really does, it invites people into the conversation. So the more that people become aware of how long, if you strap it on your arm and you ride your bicycle to work, suddenly you're thinking about energy, and it's not just something that's ubiquitous in the environment. You plug in something, it magically occurs. And I think that's a really important step for a huge portion of this planet, is to just begin to engage in the conversation.